Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com review of Audition. Now, this review was requested by one of our readers, so here I am watching Audition again and going to give you a review of it. Before we talk about the stories and the characters, here's a brief synopsis of this 1999 film. A widower takes an offer to screen girls at a special audition arranged for him by a friend to find him a new wife. The one he fancies is not who she appears to be, after all. Wow. Now, if this movie teaches you anything, it's the importance of background checks. Now, as the synopsis briefly said, is that this movie is about a widower. His wife died. He was forced to raise his son on his own. And his son is growing up now, and his son wants his father to get back in the game. He wants his father to get back in the world of dating. So his friend wants the same thing for him. So what they do is that since they work at this movie firm, they're like producers. So they're staging this fake audition for a movie just so the guy can meet the wife of his choosing. And how they do that is that, during the film process, they ask personal questions. They ask questions to, get to know the girls better. Now, the guy, the character's name is Aoyama. Aoyama, sorry, my Japanese is horrible, but Aoyama, he meets the girl named Asami, and she is not what she appears to be. She is a failed dancer. She hooks Aoyama by her resume of how she was a failed dancer, how she stopped believing in herself, and all she wanted to really do was dance. And during the process of this, he starts to really feel for her. It's like he gets sympathetic with her, so he starts to feel a little emotion towards her, and he's attracted to her, so he wants to know more about her and see if he can elevate her to another level and make her believe again. He tries to be the everyday hero. Hold on. So while he's going through the screening, he already told his friend, I made my choice. I want this girl to be my wife. I want to date her. And his friend is like being really skeptical about it. He's saying, you sure about that? Let me look into it a little bit more. He's like, no, I believe everything she's telling me. So then, I'm not going to spoil it, but they start dating, and throughout the movie, you're going to see signs that she's a little nuts. So, I'm not going to show you what the signs are or tell you what the signs are, but you're going to see signs that the girl's a little cuckoo off the rocking chair. So, as it progresses, she gets a little bit more crazier until the final act, which is really, really, really brutal. And for the most part, the story is a basic story that you get when you meet somebody who's not who they appear to be. But, this one was done with so much flair and so much originality to it. It's tense. It's a nice build-up towards the final act where she absolutely goes ape shit on this guy. And you're kind of watching him, you're like, I don't really feel bad for you. I was like, you're watching it and you're like, I told you so. I told you she was crazy. Look, I told you she was crazy. And that is probably the only flaw I didn't like. I didn't really feel for the guy when he got, what he deserved, because he wasn't listening to the warning signs. So that's the only probably flaw I probably had with the story, is that I didn't feel for the guy. I felt more sorry for the damn girl than the guy, because girl's already messed up in the head from what the experience is. You're going to see what she goes through, but the guy was kind of stupid. I mean, he had so much warning signs, he ignored it, and he got what he deserved, pretty much. But overall, you guys, the story is very entertaining. It's very tense. It's a nice build-up. It starts off slow, but once it really gets rolling, it really gets rolling. And this is directed by Takahashi Mike, and for those who know his work, you know how he is in horror and how he really just pushes the boundaries. He didn't push the boundaries as much like he did in Visitor's Cure or of his other horror works, but this one, it gets there for the final act. Let's talk a little bit about the acting. I really did like the acting. I think the actors were really, really great. The main actress, so once again, excuse my Japanese, Ihai Shina, she did a really great job playing Asami, and she gives you that vulnerability, that innocence. Like when you're first introduced to her, you feel like she is innocent. Like, okay, this girl is a nice girl, and then as you start to see certain scenes, you're like, she's crazy, and she really plays crazy very well. Like she's really sadistic in this, and I thought it was just it's great because they got such a cute girl to play this sadistic girl. Like it throws you off. You wouldn't imagine someone this cute just being like, oh yeah, she's nuts. But overall, you guys, the acting is really great. I did enjoy it. It really immerses you into the story, and these guys play the characters to a key very well and very fair, very safe. But it works. Now let's talk a little bit about the music and direction. Music, for what the music has in there, it's pretty good. It keeps the tension up, especially in the final act, where the music, he doesn't use that much music in this, but when the music does hit, it's nice, tense. It builds the moment. It builds the mood up. Direction and the cinematography was great as well, especially once again, I keep talking about the final scene because the final scene is when everything really happens, when all the build-up comes into play, and that final scene with the prosthetics and the blood and just the way it was filmed and shot, you're gonna be like, oh, ouch. I mean, it's brutal, you guys. For those who have never seen Audition, the final act is very brutal. And Takahashi, he knows how to get that queasiness out of you to make you squirm, and the way he shoots it's just really great. And let's talk a little bit about the final grade. The final grade, Audition gets a B plus slash. I can give it 3 out of 4 stars. And for those who want to do numbers, it's an 8.5 out of 10. And it's just a great movie. It's really well done, nicely written. A little cliche on, the girl goes crazy, the guy's so in love, he don't see the signs, But like I said, the most important theme of this, you guys, is warning signs and background checks. It really teaches you. It really makes you think, man, I gotta really start doing background checks on the girls I date. I'm really gotta do background checks on the guy I date. So it's a really great movie, nicely paced. Final act is amazing. The ending kind of makes you go, really? It's like, it has one of those endings like, when a monster dies or when somebody dies or whoever dies. It's like, that's it. It ends with a death. But who died, we don't. Who died, I'm not going to tell you, but it ends with a death, and you're like, damn it, that's it? What happens after that? But otherwise, it leaves you wanting more. But overall, it's a really great movie. Check it out. And this is Justin from MetallicasGeeks.com saying, later days. Audition final grade, B plus, 8.5, 3 out of 4 stars. Later days.